There once lived a beautiful young girl named Chioma, from Kuku village. She lived with her grandmother because she lost her parents when she was very young and barely knew them. Chioma was hardworking and very intelligent. Every morning, she woke up early to sweep the compound, wash the plates, and fetch water from the village stream to fill all the pots in the house. After finishing her chores, she prepared for school. When she returned, she helped her grandmother by selling cassava in the village market. In the evening, she would cook for herself and her grandmother. One evening, while Chioma was preparing okra soup and fufu, she accidentally pushed the pot, and the soup spilled on the ground. She began to cry immediately. Her grandmother heard her crying, came out, and saw the soup on the floor. The old woman became very angry. She shouted,
Chioma, you this careless girl. Do you know how hard I work to buy that okra and fish?
In her anger, she scolded Chioma harshly and sent her out of the house that night. Chioma ran out crying and sat under an Uche tree near the market square. She felt lost and alone. A man named Obina, the village palm wine tapper, saw her sitting and crying. He asked,
Chioma, why are you crying?
Chioma replied,
My grandmother sent me out because I mistakenly spilled the soup.
Obina felt sorry for her and said,
It's late and not safe for you to stay here. Come to my house and rest for the night.
Chioma followed him. At his house, he gave her food and palm wine to drink. That was the last thing she remembered that night. The next morning, Chioma woke up feeling weak and confused. She realized that Obina had taken advantage of her while she was asleep. She confronted him in tears, but Obina only laughed and told her to go back to her grandmother if she could. Heartbroken, Chioma left and went to her uncle's house. She begged him to help her talk to her grandmother so she could return home. She did not tell anyone what had happened with Obina. A few months later, Chioma started feeling sick and was often vomiting. Her grandmother took her to an old herbalist woman named Neka. After checking her, the woman told the grandmother that Chioma was pregnant. Her grandmother was shocked and very angry. She shouted,
Chioma, you have brought shame on me. Who is responsible?
In tears, Chioma said,
Mama, it was Obina, the palm wine tapper. It happened the night you sent me out.
But before she could explain further, her grandmother interrupted her and called her a liar. The next morning, the old woman dragged Chioma to Obina's house. Obina was sitting outside, drinking. The grandmother shouted,
Obina, here is your wife. Take her.
She left Chioma there and walked away, warning her never to come back home. But Obina pushed Ada away and said,
Go. I don't know you.
Chioma cried and wandered the road, alone and rejected. She wished her parents were alive. As she walked, she met a young man named Uche, who had just returned from the city to visit his aunt. When he saw Chioma crying, he stopped and asked kindly,
What's wrong? Why are you alone?
Because of her past experience, Chioma was scared and tried to run away. But Uche gently assured her,
Don't be afraid. You are safe. Come to my aunt's house, she will help you.
He took her there. Chioma was given food and water, and she took a bath. But she couldn't sleep that night, she kept remembering her pain. Later, Uche's aunt came out and saw her still awake. She asked softly, Chioma, my dear, why are you not sleeping? Chioma replied quietly,
I'm just not feeling sleepy more.
In the following days, Chioma and Uche became close friends. For the first time in a long while, Chioma smiled and felt cared for. But soon, Uche told her he would be returning to the city because his short break was over. Chioma cried when she heard the news. She thought it was the end of her happiness. But Uche had made up his mind. He had seen Chioma's humility and strength, and he wanted to help her start a new life. He told his aunt that he wanted to take Chioma with him to the city. But his aunt disagreed strongly.
You can't take her with you,
she said.
Oh, she's expecting a child. That's not right.
Still, Uche's heart was kind, and he truly wanted to give Chioma a better life. Sometimes life gives pain before peace, but Chioma's story had only begun.
The next morning, Uche took Chioma to the bus stop. A dusty old bus was heading to the city. Chioma looked at Uche nervously.
Are you sure about this?
She asked softly. Uche smiled.
Chioma, everyone deserves a new beginning. Let's go.
As the bus drove off, Chioma looked out the window, leaving behind the pain of her village and stepping into an unknown future. The city was busy and noisy. Cars honked everywhere, people rushed past, and tall buildings reached the sky. Chioma was amazed. She had never visited the city before. She had only heard many stories about it. Uche led her to a small compound.
This is where I stay.
He said kindly.
You can rest here.
That night, Chioma sat quietly with her hands on her belly. Uche brought her a plate of food.
Eat something.
He said.
You've not eaten all day.
Chioma hesitated.
You've done too much already. Why are you helping me?
Uche smiled.
Because I see strength in you, Chioma. You didn't give up, even when life turned its back on you.
Chioma's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Days turned into weeks. Chioma started learning how to sew at a small tailoring shop nearby. Uche worked in an office and often brought food home after work. Slowly, Chioma began to smile again. As her belly grew, so did her confidence. She felt peace for the first time in her life. The city gave Chioma what the village never did: peace, purpose, and a true friend who believed in her. One night, Chioma went into labor. Uche waited outside the hospital room, walking back and forth nervously. He could hear her cries inside. Moments later, a nurse came out smiling.
It's a baby boy,
she said. Uche's eyes filled with tears. He was overjoyed. The next morning, Chioma held her baby in her arms. She looked at the tiny face and smiled weakly.
He looks like my father,
she whispered.
I'll call him Chibuzo. It means God leads the way.
Uche nodded with a smile.
That's a beautiful name.
Months passed. Chioma became stronger and happier. Every Sunday, she carried baby Chibuzo to church, with Uche walking beside her. The people in the community smiled and greeted them warmly. Chioma's life had changed. From rejection to redemption, she had found peace. The girl the world once called cursed had now become a blessing. One evening, Uche returned home with an envelope in his hand and a big smile on his face.
Chioma,
He said,
I got a better job offer in Lagos, and I want you and Chibuzo to come with me.
Chioma looked surprised.
With you?
She asked softly.
Yes, Chioma.
Uche replied.
You and Chibuzo are my family now.
Tears of joy filled Chioma's eyes. She hugged him tightly. For the first time in her life, she felt loved and wanted. Uche never stopped believing in Chioma. When they moved to Lagos, he encouraged her to chase her dreams. He made sure she enrolled in an evening school while also starting a small tailoring business. Because she wasn't very skilled at sewing yet, Uche helped her join a bigger fashion school in the city. There, Chioma learned quickly. Every evening, she studied hard to finish her education. After some time, her efforts paid off. Chioma completed her secondary school and gained admission to study law at the prestigious University of Lagos. It was a dream come true. Chioma could hardly believe it. She often looked back and thanked Uche for helping her rise from her lowest point in life. Years passed, and Chioma's hard work began to shine. She built her own fashion brand, a brand loved by many. Customers came from different places to buy her designs. But Chioma didn't stop there. Remembering her past, she decided to help other young and struggling girls. She began training them for free, teaching them how to sew, how to walk, and how to believe in themselves again. Now, as a successful lawyer, Chioma also uses her voice to stand for justice. She helps protect young girls and supports women's rights. She speaks up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Uche had always admired Chioma, not just for her beauty, but for her strength, her courage, and her determination to succeed. She had faced many challenges in life, yet she never gave up. One cozy Sunday evening, Uche decided to take Chioma and little Chibuzo to the beach. The sky was calm, and the gentle waves rolled over the sand. While Chibuzo played happily with other children nearby, Uche looked at Chioma with a soft smile. He took a deep breath and said,
Chioma, I've loved you from the very first day I saw you. I didn't say it earlier because I wanted to give you time to heal from your past. But now, I know this is the right moment. Chioma, please be my wife.
Chioma's eyes filled with tears. She couldn't believe what she just heard. Uche, she said softly. You mean you can love me after all I've been through? Will you truly accept me and my son? What about your auntie? Will she accept me too? Uche gently held her hands and smiled.
I love you, Chioma, and I love Chibuzo too. Don't worry, I've already told my family about you. My auntie even encouraged me to propose to you.
Chioma covered her face as tears of joy rolled down her cheeks. Uche smiled and asked again.
So, Chioma, will you marry me?
She nodded quickly, her voice trembling with happiness. Yes, yes, I will. Uche hugged her tightly, whispering.
We'll go to your village soon to meet your family and marry you properly.
As the sun set over the ocean, Chioma's heart overflowed with gratitude. She looked at Uche and said quietly, Thank you for loving me when I thought love had forgotten me. Meanwhile, Obinna, the palm wine tapper, who raped Chioma, was invited by his old friend to the city. At first, Obinna wasn't sure, but he finally decided to go and see what life in the city was like. When he arrived, everything changed. He stopped drinking and started learning how to repair cars. With time and hard work, he became a skilled mechanic. Life was beginning to look good for him. A few years later, Obinna met a kind woman at their local church. They became close friends, and soon, they got married. They were happy together, but one thing was missing: a child. They went for medical checkups, and both were healthy. Yet, for more than 4 years, nothing changed. They prayed, hoped, and waited, but no child came. One quiet evening, Obinna sat alone in deep thought. His heart was heavy with guilt and regret. He whispered to himself,
Maybe this is happening because of my past, maybe because of how I treated Chioma back in the village. Maybe God wants me to make things right.
Memories of his mistakes filled his mind, and he sighed deeply.
I must find Chioma.
He said to himself,
I must ask for her forgiveness. Maybe then, God will show me mercy, and maybe I will see my own child someday.
But there was one problem: Obinna didn't know where to find Chioma. The last time he heard about her, she had left the village, and no one knew where she went. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. A car drove into their mechanic workshop. Obinna rushed to attend to the customer. As soon as he opened the car door, he froze. It was Chioma. For a moment, both of them were silent. Obinna's heart raced. He slowly knelt down, ashamed, and said,
Chioma, please forgive me. I'm sorry for all the pain I caused you.
Chioma gently told him to stand up. She said,
Obinna, I forgave you a long time ago. I'm no longer angry.
Obinna was moved to tears. They sat down and talked for a long time. He learned that Chioma had a child, the very child he once rejected. Obinna confessed his struggles and told her that he only wanted to make peace and meet his child. Chioma agreed. They exchanged contact numbers, and Obinna helped fix her car before she left. When Chioma got home, she told her husband, Uche, everything that happened. Uche listened quietly, then smiled. Together, they decided to allow Obinna to see his son, Chibuzo, but not to take custody of him. They believed in forgiveness, but also in protecting the child's peace and happiness. That night, Obinna felt a deep sense of relief. He realized that forgiveness is not about erasing the past, it's about healing the heart. He knew the journey wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in many years, he felt light inside. Months later, a brand new car drove slowly into Kuku village. People gathered, whispering and wondering who it was. When the car stopped, Chioma stepped out, holding baby Chibuzo, with Uche beside her. The villagers stared in disbelief. Her grandmother, older and very sick now, sat in front of her hut. She looked up in shock.
Chioma, is that you?
she asked with trembling hands. Chioma smiled through her tears and knelt before her.
Yes, Mama. I came to forgive you and to thank you for raising me.
The old woman began to cry.
Forgive me, my child. I wronged you.
Chioma held her hand gently. It's okay, Mama. God gave me another chance. They hugged tightly. The villagers clapped softly, touched by the moment. The day finally came, the day everyone in Kuku village had been waiting for. Uche and Chioma were getting married. The village was filled with joy, laughter, and music. From the young to the old, everyone came out to celebrate this union that was written in the stars. Uche paid Chioma's dowry and performed all the traditional rites. It was a beautiful ceremony, rich with culture, love, and blessings. The villagers danced, sang, and prayed for the couple. They were inspired by Chioma's story, a story of pain, resilience, and victory. After the wedding, Uche, Chioma, and little Chibuzo left the village for the city. It was a new beginning, a fresh chapter filled with hope. Even though she was far away, Chioma never forgot her grandmother. She hired a kind nurse to care for her and sent a monthly allowance without fail. Her heart was always full of gratitude for the woman who raised her. Years went by, and their home was filled with joy and laughter. Chioma and Uche were later blessed with 3 more children, 2 boys and a girl. Their love grew stronger with each passing day. Chioma continued to manage her fashion brand and supported young girls through free training and mentorship. Uche stood proudly by her side, cheering her on. Together, they built a beautiful family, filled with peace, love, and purpose. Chioma's story reminds us that no matter how dark life gets, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. With faith, courage, and love, we can rise above pain and create a future brighter than we ever imagined. And so, Uche, Chioma, and their children lived happily ever after. Chioma's story reminds us that no matter how hard life gets, there is always hope. Kindness can heal pain. Forgiveness brings peace. And sometimes, a second chance is all we need to turn pain into purpose.